let's bring in Admiral Stavridis. Admiral, you know, we always talk about how two things can be true at one time. So let's walk through this for a second on a human level. Everything that we've read about Pete Hegseth and his first tours in combat zones suggests that he did a great job, honorable, and in uniform, was respected by those around him in his early tours. We also know, though, a lot of men and women come back from war zones and perhaps they have PTSD. I'm not suggesting that's the case here. I don't know what the case is here, but it is very obvious by seeing the pattern of behavior since he returned from the combat that he obviously needs help. I mean, if you even just read what his mother wrote, and I know that now she's trying to be a good mom and trying to defend her son after that's out, but what she wrote lines up with what people said before, during, and now after. So this appears to be, and I think the Trump transition team believes this appears to be a man who needs help and not the nuclear codes.
Yeah, I think we talked about that earlier in the week on exactly that point. I think there's three baskets of problems here. Number one, which we've talked about quite a bit this morning, the kind of character issues. That email from his mother is heartbreaking to read. Then there's the policy issues. I don't see how you become the Secretary of Defense of an organization that's 20% women in virtually every combat role. And by the way, I've commanded thousands of women in combat since I was a commander in the Navy, a commodore, an admiral at sea in Afghanistan. Women fight well in combat. I've seen it again and again. You can't go into the building, the Pentagon, with that kind of a stance that women should be pulled out of the force. So there's a policy basket. And then third, I think, and finally here, it's the size, the scope, the scale of running the Pentagon. The place is 3 million people, active and reserve, budget of 800, 900 billion. The people we need at that desk, I'll give you one Republican and one Democrat. Robert Gates headed the CIA, was Secretary of Defense I worked directly for. Leon Panetta, Democrat, Chief of Staff in the White House. These are the kind of serious people we need running the Pentagon. So I think Hegseth's nomination is in big trouble. I'll close with this. You talked about Pete Hegseth's combat record. I respect that. There are other options out there. And if you look at Ron DeSantis, he also served in combat. He was the Navy JAG advising Navy SEALs in the Middle East. His combat record is just fine, but he's pretty clean on the other issues of character we talked about.